Doing a neck reset on a D-28 today. I'm running out of things to video. This is routine work. This is the guitar there that I did the spruce top on. It had the busted up bridge sheet, and that got a lot of hits. People seem interested in that. And I put a piece of spruce up underneath here. It's looking pretty good. It's got a little bit of a, you can see it's got a little bit of a bulge, but that's all right, because the top's got to have a little bit of flex to it. Listen to the tap tone of it. It's got a pretty good tap to it. It's not dead sounding. It needs a neck reset. First thing I notice is that the E to E distance is off just a little bit. These strings should be slid over just a little tiny bit, and I'm going to make sure I do that when I get the neck reset on. I probably got the bridge, just a tiny bit over here because it's using 2 1/4 inch spacing, so you've got to be critical. And I needed to set the bridge down where it needed to be. It's in the middle of the guitar. It might not have been in the middle before. And also when you have 2 1/8 inch spacing, it's pushed in a lot more, and you've got a lot more leeway as to where the bridge is. When you use 2 1/4, you've got to have everything exactly right. This is not my bridge. This is a Martin bridge that the owner supplied to me. So I know the holes are correct and everything. But this needs to be scooted over just the tiniest amount. And I need to make sure I do that when I do the neck reset. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a pretty decent saddle. I've done all this before, but we're going to go through it again. I've got a pretty decent saddle in here. That's pretty close to the height that I'm going to want. I'm not going to overstress this top a whole lot. And now what we're going to do is see what our action is. And way over 90 thousandths of an inch. In fact, I'm not even going to use feeler gauges. I'm going to use my calipers. Caliper. 145 with the saddle I want. The saddle, by the way, is 120. So the saddle is even a little bit on the low side, but that's all right. That's good for this one. So 145 at 120. And I want that to be 93 thousandths of an inch. So the difference there is, I can do it in my head, but I don't want to make a mistake. So I always go to the calculator. 52. 52 thousandths of an inch. Action change times 2 is 104 on the saddle. And divided by 3 because it's a 3-to-1 ratio from here to here down to the heel. And so divide that by 3. 35 thousandths of an inch. That's a perfectly normal 70s neck reset. And I'll never use, like I described before, I'm never going to come back to this 035. All that does is tell me, like, how much of a neck reset is this going to be? What's really important is this next figure. So I know that my action is 145 thousandths of an inch here. We're going to take strings off. Hold in here. It's not bad. It's 60, but it's cool. Sometimes I get people that are critical of all the measurements I take. Oh, you don't have to take that many measurements. You don't have to take measurements at all. You do it your way. I'm going to do it mine. I like the measurements because I'm such a redundant person. I want redundant checks. And I hate absolutely hate making mistakes. When I predict something and I shoot for something, I want to hit it. I don't like to get close. I don't like to get almost there. When I rebuild dirt bikes, rebuild the dirt bike motor, I'm upset if it doesn't start by the third kick. If it starts by the second kick, I'm happy. You know, the three kicks is you got to get the gas flowing. You know, I'm okay with three kicks. The best dirt bike that I ever rebuilt, I remember this one, is KX125, 2005. I rebuilt it. And they generally work the Kickstarter real slowly to feel for the piston, make sure the piston's moving up and down, make sure everything feels right. And I push it down with my hand and it goes, whoom, starts up. Now that's what I wanted, you know. I didn't even kick it. It started. That's what I want. Okay, so on this one, now I've taken the strings off. All I have is the 2 E's. And I want to know what this measurement is. So 145. Top is still under some tension. So I got to kind of take that into account a little bit. Fastest way to do this is measure them. So 110, 115. Sorry, 115. Got rest. Okay, so that's a difference of 30 thousandths of an inch, which I don't care about. But what I do need to know, is that I want to drop that action 50 thousandths of an inch. 52. We're going to call it 50 to make it easy. So mine is 0.50. And 115 minus 50 is 65 thousandths of an inch. So, after I get the neck off and I've started sanding it, and I can put this guitar back in the jig, I can string up the 2 E's, which I'm going to do to check my alignment. And I want to see an action of 65 thousandths of an inch like this, with 2 E's on it, with about that much tension, you know, just a little tension, not the whole set on there. And because I want to drop this fully strung action from 145 to 93, that's a difference of 52 thousandths of an inch, 50. Right now, at rest with just 2 strings, the action is 115. If I drop that by that same 50 thousandths of an inch, I end up with a resting action of 65 thousandths of an inch. That's what I want to see when I'm working on it and getting my neck angle right. And just as my third check here, just for curiosity, I'm going to run the straight edge down the bridge, and it's hitting, which I expected it to. This is hard to hold and lift the guitar at the same time. There's what you got. Straight edge is actually climbing up on the bridge a little bit, and that's just, when I use the straight edge, once again, that's just something that I do to see how I'm doing. Am I moving? You know, you can calculate it. You can calculate this distance here. So you would want to move 50 thousandths of an inch there, 52, and you want to move 104. So you want to see 105 thousandths of an inch difference here, and you can stack feeler gauges or tape or pieces of wood, but the trouble is you don't have a measurement now. So how much below is it? Well, you can measure it here. You can calibrate this, and you can add 115, but it's still a secondary measurement, you know. The measurement that I trust is this string under tension, and what I really trust is when it's in the jig and I string it up to tension. You know, that's the best thing. But that's a good check. In other words, let me show you again what I'm doing here. I've showed this before, but so this is where the straight edge sits right now. And if you caliper it, my hands are cold, so I hope I don't drop this. I'm going to hold this down here. The yardstick is at the first fret down here, pressing down in the middle of the net to make sure it's solid. I'm going to move it as close to the bridge as I can. And I'm going to bring this down and measure. And that measurement is 1.410. So let's do that one down here. Write that down here. That's 1 inch. 0.410. Okay, and then I want the action to change 52 thousandths of an inch. So that's going to be 104 over at the saddle. So this needs to be up 104 thousandths of an inch, which would be, let's just call it 100. 1.5. An inch and a half. So, when I come back in here and I'm measuring this and then my neck angle is going back, I would like for this to be 1.510. Lock that in there. Set that down there. And that's how much I need this yardstick to move. 100 thousandths of an inch. So when it starts clearing it and it's this high off the fingerboard, then that's when I'll be good. That's a good check. I mean, I got no problems with that, except for the difficulty of balancing everything. You know, I just like to be able to put the strings on there so that I can see the E to E movement, and that's just the way I like to do it. Okay? Now I'm going to pop this off. Pop these off. This is why I always do the E's last. So I have access to the E's. And the strings are curled around the headstock. I've got the water heating up over here. Looks like it's about ready. Coil these up. Get my heating pads out. 2 heating pads. This one's out of insulated bubble wrap. Not as durable to heat, not as heat resistant as this one is. This one's cardboard with aluminum foil. The other one's just the insulation for the top. I tried using it one time and it just started to melt. And so this isn't sturdy enough, obviously. Got my little kitty's chain. Parachute cord works pretty good too. The Salomon shop, I use parachute cord, and that works great. I have this. There we go. All right, that's going to cook for a while. I'm going to turn the GoPro off. We'll come back to this, okay? All right, let's see how we're doing here. It's been on for 5-10 minutes, whatever. And what we want to do, check, make sure there's no moisture coming out. A little bit of moisture right there. Sometimes they blush out really, really hard. Take a little bit of moisture on the end of this. Start pushing it. Almost ready. You can see it steam a little bit as I pull it out. See the steam? That means it's pretty hot under there. So that's good. It's getting there. It's going to come off. Some moisture. Your spatula is that far. It needs to go up to this fret. So as soon as you get it pretty much all the way up into there, it's going to pop. Just be sure you come up on the edges here. Like this. Make sure you pull that spatula up. We're clear. Yeah, that's hot. And I feel that too. That's not hide glue. So this is the original deal. Turn my heat lamp off. Fret puller. Magic marker. Sharpie. I always mark the treble side of that fret, no particular reason. Consistency. Pull 15th fret. It's just plenty hot now. Drop it in there. Let's see, fret tool goes there. That goes there. I'm in the other shop. Get this out of the way. Cord out of the way. 3/32 of an inch drill bit. Start it slowly. Boom, and when it goes through like that, you know you hit the pocket really well. There's a slight angle back. When you hit stuff, it's usually you're hitting the front of the dovetail. And let me get my string. I've got an old 56 here that I use for a probe, and boom. Goes that far, so I made a good clean. Got a little bit of wood binding right there at the top I can feel. No big deal. We've got clean. Go over to the other bench. Pop that on there, bring it, yeah. That is stuck immediately. Let's bring the GoPro over. That's what we got. Like that. We'll set this here for now. This is my Hero 8 that doesn't have the front facing camera. The other front facing camera is in Los Alamos, but we're making do. GoPro's got such a wide angle, it's very forgiving. And you can see what's going on. Putting a fair amount of pressure on that. Let's bring the camera up. I got a camera in the back so I can see what's going on here. This is what it looks like. And so we're clear of the body right here, which is what we need, so that the pressure's on the heel. This is what we look like up here. Your pressure is on the rim of the guitar, not out on the top, and about that far away, so that I can get my cloth in here. Here's our two. Okay, we got good steam. Pop it in there. Needle goes all the way to the bottom. Neck's not going to pop off right away, so okay, here we go. So the neck's not going to pop off right away. I was okay with getting this paper towel. Boy, it's blowing out of here really good. So I like that. That's why I use 2 holes, because then I know the steam's going all the way through and it heats the other side real well. I seem to get a lot less buildup of steam over on the sides with 2. I'm not getting any steam shooting out. Let me do something here real quick. One thing I do with that 35 thousandths of an inch measurement is mark the heel. So then I use it as a guide when I'm sanding. So 22 and 12 is 35. And I meant to do that over there and I forgot to because I was too busy. Flip this over. Take my 35 thousandths of an inch, mark it up on the heel, and score it. Then when I'm sanding it, I've got that score mark, it's sort of a guide, and it just tells me how far I'm doing, you know. That's all it is, it's just a guide. Put these back in. Go. Pressure. Yep. Go to the other side this time. Oh, all the way to the bottom. Blowing steam out here like crazy. I like to see the steam come out there too, because it means I'm not leaving a lot of water down in there. It's the heat that makes it do it. And I have that other video where I talk about the heat sticks versus the steam. And the problem with the heat sticks is they don't get the heat up into the dovetail. And so if this has a lot of shims up high, it's not gonna, I don't know, the steam just pushes the heat in better. And I'm not getting any kind of steam coming out the sides here, so it's really no big deal. It takes me so much less time to do it with this way. There are times when I would use the heat stick still. Haven't ruled those out. Put this back in. Let's just keep the body in place. Nick's on there pretty good. Meaning it has a nice fit. You can hear it creaking. Pressure. Yeah, I can see steam shooting out the base out here. Let's get the camera. I've never filmed this before. But there, steam shooting out the heel, which is good. Steam coming up here, steam out there. And nothing going on here. There's no steam blushing out the sides. It's looking pretty good so far. And here it comes. Starting to move. Almost. Always hang on to that neck. Tight bond is not that bad. It always gives you a little bit of warning. It creeps just a second. The hide glue will go pop. Just want to hang on to the neck, that's all. You can pull the steam out right now and just let it sit for a while. There's nothing wrong with that. Starting to move. I'd reach for it, but I'm afraid to. One thing you can do is you can run that spatula back up into the tongue. There it comes. There it goes. And off we go. Ta-da! Clean. Look at all the glue. There we go. That's a lot of glue out there, and that's why I didn't want to wiggle. They filled it up with a lot of glue. Doesn't need nearly that much glue. So what I got to do right now where this is warm is start working on getting this glue. Get a chisel. That's glue. clean. Now, another way to do this, come over here to the side, like this. Take your chisel on the side, use this edge, scrape it. Like that. It's a good way to really get down into the corners here. So by using it this way, I'm getting way down into the corner, and I'm also scraping the faces clean. It's like I said, it's a lot easier when the glue is wet. Okay, there's a little pile. Here's the neck. It came out pretty clean. Just got a little bit of glue up in here we need to get rid of. But the actual heel of the neck is pretty decent. Let's flip this camera here. Get to that way. I gotta work right-handed on this one. Same thing. It's decent. But the glue up here at the top, yeah, that's from the gluing the fingerboard on. More glue. Now you can see this hollow truss rod, and I know it's got steam in it right now because I just took the neck off. So this is going to be a real good time to get the dowel in there, because the dowel, I use Gorilla Glue, and Gorilla Glue needs to have the moisture. So I've got moisture inside that tube, and right now I'm going to clean this off. This is glue. So much easier to get this off now. Trying to get the camera in here. I wouldn't have any trouble doing this except for the camera. If you undercut your heel a little bit right here, it's going to help a lot when it comes time to fit it to the neck. Like that. Undercut that heel a little bit. Get that glue out of there. And then I like to come in right here. Clean that out. The glue is really hard to sand, and so that's why I'm cleaning this up here. Because when I start fitting the neck back on, I'm going to use sanding strips. And it's so much easier if you don't have to fight through a bunch of dried glue. Okay? Now, if you're good with your chisel, you can come in like this, and you angle it this way a little bit, so not out. So if you went out, you're gonna mess up the outside. But if you angle your chisel in, and then just do a little scrape up here, pull a lot of glue off the side of the heel right here. You can do other ways too, but I don't like to do that too much because I've slipped, and this is just the best way for me. Alright, that neck's prepped. Let's move.